The Masoretic text, right, the oldest manuscript of the complete Hebrew Bible, from which almost all Hebrew or Old Testament translations are taken today, the order of books is different. So the book of Ruth does not come immediately after the book of Judges. It comes immediately after the book of Proverbs. So the book of Proverbs ends with this ode to the worthy wife. Right? It begins with this question, right? Who can find a worthy wife? Because her worth is far above rubies. And then you have this whole poem about what is a worthy wife. Then in the Hebrew Bible, immediately after that, like you turn the next page, and then you get the story of Ruth. In the story of Ruth, right? Boaz says in the story of Ruth, he's like, his reason for agreeing to marry her is because everyone is knowing that you are a worthy wife. So this is what you should know about Ruth, right? Ruth is the paragon worthy wife in the Old Testament. It's the exact same phrase. Interestingly enough, it's immediately followed by Song of Songs, which we'll talk about when we get to Song of Songs, which is, right, the book of the Old Testament that's all about sex. But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Yahweh deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." Stop again. All right, so what does Ruth saying to Naomi here? What kind of a vow does this sound like to you, by the way? Marriage vow. Yeah, this sounds like a marriage vow. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. And here's the big one. Your God will be my God. So Ruth is convinced. Right, so this is extraordinary, right? It's extraordinary, right? In modern day time, this would be like if one of us in this room, if we presume we all come from a Christian background. I don't know if this is true, but let's presume we all come from a Christian family, right? And one day we just up and decide, okay, I'm going to worship Allah now. Or I'm going to worship Shiva, which is a Hindu goddess. Right, it's like, that's what's happening with Ruth. Right, so Ruth is saying not only is she she's bound and determined to stick with Naomi, but including everything that means, including taking Naomi's God, worshiping Yahweh. This is like unheard of in ancient culture, right? Why is this story? One of the reasons why is this story so special? Because it's like a Moabite coming into the community of those who worship Yahweh, which is like never happens. I cannot think of any other story in the Old Testament where this happens, right? Where there's an Ammonite who becomes a Yahweh worshiper, or a Syrian who becomes a Yahweh worshiper, an Assyrian or a Babylonian. But it happened with Ruth. "Don't call me Naomi," she told him. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but Yahweh has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? Yahweh has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." Stop. What if you're one of Naomi's old friends? What would you say to her? Well, let me ask you this. What are you as a reader thinking when you hear this speech by Naomi? Okay, so what makes it dramatic? I agree with you. What makes it dramatic? Use your powers of observation. Well, from an ancient Israelite perspective, she's right. Yahweh has afflicted her. Let me read the speech again. Don't call me Naomi, she told him. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. It's verse 21. It's what she says next. I went away full, but Yahweh has brought me back empty. Right? As a reader, we should be like, well, I get why you feel this way, Naomi, but wait a minute, right? Like, Ruth is standing right there. Right? You're not fully empty yet. Now that we've pointed this out, we should also say, right, like, losing your husband and your sons is terrible. Right? Like, if that happened to any of us in this room, where we lost our spouse and we lost our children, right? It's the death of your children is like the most stressful thing that can happen to you in life, right? So like, I don't say all this to like pick on Naomi necessarily. I'm only saying that like, right? She is really grieving, and she's also angry, right? Like she says, "Call me bitter," right? She's speaking truthfully, like she is bitter. There's something honorable about her honesty. End of Act 1. What is the problem of this story? What's the conflict? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? God is the protagonist always. Naomi is the antagonist. Naomi's telling the story as if Yahweh is the antagonist. Do you see the irony? Right? Naomi is saying this isn't fair. Right? Yahweh did this to me. Yahweh is right. Yahweh's the one who should be blamed here. She's angry. She's bitter. Happens to all of us at times. It does. It really does. We all get bitter. Okay, this is a delicious irony, right? Right? We should be reading as Yahweh is the main character, and Naomi is like trying to blame Yahweh. Naomi's telling the story as if it's just the opposite, right? But here's the main point is, you should not be reading the story as if Ruth is the main character, because Ruth is not the main character. This story is about the relationship between Naomi and Yahweh. That's what this story is about. Why then, if Naomi is the main person in view, why is it called Ruth? Yes, you're getting closer. So it's the reason why this book is named for Ruth, I would argue, is because of how extraordinary it is that a Moabite leaves their culture, their religion, and like comes into the Israelite people, right? This never happens. So it's right? It's good and right that we should be memorializing Ruth in this way. But the story is really about Naomi and Yahweh. Now here's the important part. The woman said to Naomi, "Praise be to Yahweh, who this day has not left you without a kinsman redeemer. May he, Yahweh, become famous through Israel. Yahweh will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Remember, major conflict is between Naomi and Yahweh. That's the point of the story. What do they